Watching Elon Musk and Donald Trump go at this lately, it's kind of like watching a King Kong Godzilla movie, not being sure who's going to win at the end. I tend to favor Elon Musk, but that doesn't mean that I agree with everything he's done. In fact, I thought that many of the employees in the central government were treated pretty poorly by Doge. People in the CIA or the FBI, people working in our military services that just deserve more respect than they got. But the central thesis here is the federal government is too big and our deficits are too large, and they threaten the very well-being of our nation and the nation that we hope that our children will inherit. We have people like Ray Dalio writing books about what makes nations go bankrupt. It's like a canary in the coal mine giving us a warning. This particular bill, the big beautiful bill, is anything but beautiful. What you'll hear from them is a lot of talk about how it adds about $3 trillion to the deficit. But what that undermines, or at least what it doesn't make clear, is that we're at about $36 trillion today, and we will go to $60 trillion at the end of 10 years. That is highly problematic for our country, and literally, depending upon interest rates, it could get up to being half of our budget being in debt service. That's a problem for us. And who it's the biggest problem for is the middle class. This is a massive tax on the middle class because it affects long-term interest rates. There's a direct correlation between long-term interest rates and the federal deficit. That has an effect on small businesses. It has an effect on the price of products that you're able to buy. But it also has an effect on our kids who want to buy a home, who can't afford it because of the mortgage costs. Look, it's just quite simply time we get our arms around this, and this is a great opportunity to do it. What I really agree with Elon Musk on is maybe it's time that we need a new party. Take a look at what's been happening. Year after year, the Republicans tell us about how bad the deficits are and how bad our debt is. And the minute they get in, they pass a bill that adds $3 trillion on top of the excess of spending that the Biden administration had before them. The last guy to balance the budget was Bill Clinton. Now that ought to say something to us. Look, I wrote a book about this subject, about what's right with America, how there's so much here that we have to be grateful for and thankful for, and our founders did a wonderful job of putting us in a great position. But there are two issues that we're at risk over. The first one is this: we cannot keep spending more than we make. We have an obligation to be able to make more than we spend, not just individually, but nationally. And the second issue is we have to treat one another better. Look, you can't be patriotic by insulting other Americans. One thing I don't like about this fight is it seems to be going down a road about personalities. And what it should be talking about is this bill and how it is that we balance our budget. And on that, I hope Elon's successful.